What do you think about Alice Miller and her thesis that most psychological diseases and aberrant behavior are the result of some kind of childhood trauma? Some are. But some forms of childhood trauma are also a consequence of psychological diseases and aberrant behavior. So this is very, very complicated. I'm more on the existentialist front with regards to these sorts of theories. So Alice Miller's thesis is basically Freud's thesis. Freud certainly posited that many forms of psychological distress were a consequence of childhood trauma of various sorts. I think the existentialist take on that is more accurate, which is that life in and of itself is sufficiently harsh and full of betrayal and other forms of malevolence to cause any number of psychological diseases and produce any amount of aberrant behavior. So I don't think it has to be, it's not as if we all had childhoods without trauma that we would have grown up to be perfect adults. That's also a disguised form of Rousseauian philosophy, and Rousseau's philosophy is people are basically good, but culture makes them evil. And that's not true. People are basically good and evil, and culture fortifies the possibility of both, adds strength to the possibility of both. So I think that people are sometimes damaged in childhood in ways that need to be addressed in adulthood, but that there are plenty of other reasons for psychological and physical disorder. Genetic causes, causes related to all sorts of physical diseases. No, it's way too simple. It's way too simple a hypothesis. And it's caused an awful lot of trouble because a lot of simple-minded therapists always assume that if someone is having psychological problems in adulthood, it must be because they had childhood trauma. And everybody has an unhappy childhood to some degree, so you can always find something. And often the childhood trauma that they're looking for has to be sexual. And so they dig and dig until they find or often invent something that, allows a single causal attribution. And it's just, life just isn't that simple, man. There's lots of reasons to be ill. Way more reasons to be ill than to be healthy. So